Hello and welcome back to The Gentleman and His Sword. My name is Jeremy, and I hope you all had a good weekend. Mine was pretty good. I made a couple friends, and I really had fun because my birthday was a couple of days ago. Though, because it was a work week, I didn't celebrate it as much, so I waited till the weekend, and so I was fortunate enough to go karting with a couple of buddies and also make friends as well at a later date at a car meet. So that was epic. As per usual, just gonna start off with one thing that I'm grateful for, and that is friendship. Yeah, friendship is exceptionally important. Keeping those who relate to you the most close are is a blessing, honestly, because what that means is you basically there's always someone who has your back and who's able to understand you on a deeper level. And so yeah, I think friendship is important, and I believe it's a good way to keep positive relationships around you as well. Yeah. So yeah, today's topic is to do with travel. And as you can see with the title description, why travel is crucial, why travel is a crucial part of your life. So, one thing I've noticed is traveling, what it did for me is help me understand better about people's different backgrounds and cultural differences. Because that's one thing you're going to do or encounter every time you leave your hometown or home area and go to a different place. And it doesn't have to be like international travel. For in my case, that's the case. I've been to different countries as well. Though, what I mean is like leaving, like, let's say your house and going to like this next city to like start an adventure or visit a friend who's moved out there before you and wanted to see how it is out there. So like that's what I mean. So as an example, travel for me was just something that was just a natural part of me growing up. Simply because I lived in one country growing up and my family and relatives lived in another, and so it helped me understand just between the movement between the two countries. The different cultural norms between it. So yeah. Another thing is your perspective will change because your natural exposure to different cultural backgrounds means that you kind of see people for who they are and how they've grown up and all that. And especially if you go into especially if you study in a school in a different country, you'll definitely see that that really shine through. And so, and one of the things I'm also grateful for as well is the ability to like meet different people from different stages of life, right? Undergoing different circumstances, so like young, old, wise, curious, all that, you know, and that with meeting different people, it definitely broadens your perspective. My friend group is not, from what I perceive, is not it's very international. Like, thankfully, through because of the schools that I went to, but as well like just also in tune with my excuse me, I just blanked out for a second. My my hobbies. There you go. Yeah. So my hobbies help me, like, because if you don't know right now, like, I love gaming. So I was able, and I love COD. You can definitely look at it. You can look at you can look at the video that is in the background, that I love playing COD. And so, and the amount of people that I've met playing COD is just phenomenal, from different walks of life. And it's just proof that this different perspective, and every day is like a learning process, because you get to learn new things about your new friends as well, because they're just they've just grown up differently and they have different priorities. And yeah, I think it's just absolutely vitally important. So to to travel. And one of the ways to do that is if you actually save money to do so. So that's one thing I think is important. Another thing is, which is totally unconventional, is the food that you eat. Now, travel has awarded me the different aspects of food from so many different cultures as well. So I love that about travel. My favorite foods. Well, I've always had burgers as my favorite food because I've always eaten burgers as as ever since I was growing up. Sorry, and yeah, some of the foods like I now enjoy on a what's it called, on a occasional basis is like tortilla wraps. That's something different that we don't usually have at home. Or now that I'm no longer back in Kenya, something that is completely rare for me is like chapati. So like, if you don't know what that is, I'll put up a photo of it on the screen so that you just know what I'm talking about. It's kind of more of a traditional food because that's what I grew up with, but at the same time it's more it's definitely more to do with the discovery of new food. So that's one thing I appreciated. Like, I didn't have a profound love of pasta and pizza until I went to Italy to actually have some of the foods out there. And so yeah. And I'll try and give an example of a different location that I've been to, like France too. Yeah, there's this amazing meal called Macedon, which is so simple. It's like a roll of ham and with mixed veggies, and you have to do a mix of like mayo, ketchup, and I think maybe hot sauce if you want. But basically, what you do is with that you wrap around the you mix the mixed veggies with the sauce mix, and then what you do is you wrap the mixed veggie sauce mix around inside the ham and just roll it and eat it. So like, and that's like just like a simple snack meal in France. So like that's that's another example that I think is awesome, and I wouldn't have known about that if I wasn't awarded the opportunity to like travel to France, right? So that's definitely important. The third thing I'd like to discuss as well is the cultural norms. I think I've already touched a bit on that, but it's definitely important personally to discover the different cultural norms. And I'll give the most idiotic example ever, because it happened at a time when I was young. So the first time I went to France, we went into, I think it was a Burger King with my dad, and there was this couple right in front of me, and I sat down right behind them because my dad went to place an order at the till. And I sat down, and there's a lady that just sat right in front of me, and then I believe her partner just started kissing her right in front of me. And at the time I was 15, so like I was completely horrified. I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? Like, why the fuck are they kissing right in front of me? Can't they reserve this from the bedroom and shit? Because that's how I used to think, right? And as soon as my dad got back to me, the first thing I told him was like, hey man, these guys are kissing in front of me. And I'm like, isn't that disgusting? But he looked at me and then just died of laughter, because that is a cultural norm. I believe public display of affection out there is like fairly common, so it's not something that's frowned upon, unlike Kenya, where we rarely get to see that type of intimacy publicly. And so that for me definitely made a lot of sense. And so that's my other example. And that also coincides with the way of life, right? Because the way of life is technically different from how you grew up, right? So as a person who comes from Kenya and got to see a difference in perspective, definitely helped me definitely helped me improve my perspective. And also, I think the final thing that I would like to talk about is different scenarios. And by scenarios, what I mean is uh, living in a different country with different rules. So definitely, what happened is for example, when I moved to France for high school, it was different for me because, first of all, the first thing I needed to do was I needed to always communicate in French, and in order to get what I need, right? But thankfully, being predisposed to speaking French is definitely a good thing. If you just watched what I did there, I literally jumped and I literally just died because I forgot to pull my parachute, and that's definitely something that that I do, which is called mistakes. And yeah, but yeah, back to the point is yeah, it's just adjusting to different cultural norms, and so I had to improve my French while I was living there, and but obviously because it's different, it's boarding school, it's definitely different with relation to like how much freedom that you have going out and doing stuff. So obviously I'm in a closed environment, but anytime I needed to, like, we had a group activity outside of the school. We need to interact with actual French people, so it definitely made a difference. Yeah, so I definitely think that it's important to have uh a note on perspective and what travel does to it. I just thought that that was very important, and I wish to share it. So yeah, just so that's why I believe travel is a crucial part of your life, because what happens is your mind expands, and it's a different, in your personal book, in your own book, when you go into a different country, it's like opening a new page into your book, because it's not the same page where you are. For example, for me, it's Kenya, and the second page would have been France, or another page would have been Dubai, or another page would have been the US or the States, right? So like, and that's what traveling is like, it's your book, right? So like every page, every new encounter is a new page, or exactly. So I think it's important. I think it would be beneficial for you to travel. Obviously, do prepare well if you're planning a trip. It's good to travel while you're young. I believe it's good to. Personally, I would travel later because I just have different goals and mindsets right now. Though, yeah. Anyway, I just want to say thank you very much for tuning into my podcast. I appreciate your time, and please leave a like and subscribe as well. Um, I do this on a weekly basis, and I will see you guys next week, same time. You guys be safe, and peace.